Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anton. I'm a director of cinematography.
Oh my God,
Director
bro.
of cinematography.
Hell no.
I'm a director of photography based in Los Angeles. I worked in the commercial and film industry in China for 8 years, then in London for a bit, and most recently in the US. The other day, I went to see The Amateur. It was a really fresh take on spy adventure type of film like James Bond or Mission Impossible. But today, I wanted to talk about a trailer that I saw right before The Amateur. It was a trailer for a film called Sinners. I thought it looked amazing and exciting. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to review it. So today we're looking at a trailer for Sinners. It's a movie directed by Ryan Coogler and shot by Autumn Durald Arkpaw ASC, which is an amazing cinematographer. Let's take a look at the trailer.
We've been gone a long time.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
That was really exciting. I can't wait to watch this movie. If you haven't yet seen the trailer, you can check it out in the link below. So obviously this was shot in natural light. We can see the sun falling on him, on the shoulders everywhere. There's a very light fill on his face coming from here. So it's probably a bounce, like a silver board or a whiteboard, bouncing the sun off on his face to give it a little bit more fill. What we know about this film so far is that it was shot on 65mm film. The most beautiful thing about shooting on film is that it has a crazy dynamic range, typically anywhere between 12 and 18 stops. This was a 65mm IMAX film, so this is on the higher end. These skies are so bright, they should be clipping, but they're not, and that's the beautiful thing about shooting film. This looks like natural light to me as well. We got sun coming in this way, hitting his face. This is really cool. See how the sun ends here? They put him in a spot where part of the roof cuts off the sun and it creates a more dynamic image. He's not entirely lit and he's in the shadow. That makes it just 0.1% more interesting. If you look at the opposite side of his face from the sun, it's not dark. There's a chance that there's a big bounce on this side, bouncing the sun back on him, or this is literally the sun reflecting off of the dirt road, which would also work as a bounce. So it's kind of hard to say, but nonetheless, beautiful frame. Man, this is such a beautiful frame. This is natural light. He's backlit. We have a really nice soft bounce on his face coming from the left. It's a really nice, beautiful highlight. This is pure cinema. This is how you do it. The thing about shooting in the sun is that it's so strong, you need some serious firepower to counter it. This light on him looks too punchy to be just a bounce, but at the same time, it's also really soft. My two guesses are that it's either something like M18 through a booklight diffusion, or it's a mirror reflection from the sun through a big sheet of diffusion, like an 8x or 6x. Either way, this is a really beautiful piece of work. In this shot, it looks like they didn't use anything at all. They're literally standing in the sun. I don't see anything. I mean, the sun is kind of harsh. I'm pretty sure this is just ambient sky, just kind of falling on them. In this shot, they didn't use anything. This is just natural light. That's what it looks like to me. This is a classic example of beautiful Hollywood work. We have an overhead lighting setup, kind of going down like that. Just probably with a skirt so it doesn't splash everywhere. Although it kind of does, because then we see that it splashes on the back as well, on this part as well. It's limited. Obviously from the way the shadow falls on her eyes, we can tell the direction of light is from here. This light from the street works nicely as a backlight on her, which is beautiful. It's lighting the door as well. It's lighting these things on the shelf. It's a beautiful combination of natural and man-made lighting. I'm not sure if there's a practical purpose of this. It could be hiding a hot spot behind it. I kind of doubt it because it's 65mm film. Dynamic range is crazy. It's just a set design piece. This is such a beautiful frame too. I love how the outside light bouncing and reflecting in the wood ceiling. He is lit pretty well and very evenly. It's not sourcey at all. So I would say it's natural. I don't know. I mean, With such beautiful high-level work, sometimes it's hard to tell how it's done. My two guesses are it's either natural or there's another really big, like a butterfly reflection piece on wheels behind the camera, and it's kind of bouncing the sunlight back on him. Either way, props to the DP. This is amazing work. You can have a lot more fun with lighting in these interior and night shots. What they did here was these candles, little lights, they're giving him a backlight on his shoulders. Judging from how light falls on the people in the back and his face, you can see the shadow is under his eyebrows, which tells me the light source, it's a big light source above, hanging over the ceiling, and it's lighting the entire space. And also you can tell by this shade here. Yeah, it's like up there, because that's probably the middle of the room. So that's my guess. It's pretty straightforward. You can tell here it's a very similar setup to the shot before. It exists in the same space. Good practicals always work. He has backlight on the shoulder. Most definitely something else up there, but they're trying to motivate it as if it's coming from these, but it's not. These small lights are not strong enough to give him this edge. Then there's a light up here. It's coming directly down on him. You can tell by the shadow in his eyebrows. There's a lot of ambient light going around. With these big films, it's harder to tell because usually the main difference between commercials and movies is that in commercials you light more or less like photography, where you make it look nice and pretty, a bit more directional with your lights. As a rule of thumb, in films, you want to light spaces, not faces. In this shot, we can tell there's a huge inflatable, I don't even know what they're called, mattress looking thing that has lights in it. And it's either hung from cranes, or sometimes I've seen they fill them up with helium and they just hover above and then they anchor them to the ground. And that gives it this big moonlight spread everywhere. In this shot, you can tell again by this white light. It's coming from above. It's that big light source above us. It's a really cool eye light. They kind of made it look like the Blade Runner weird looking eye light. Probably fire reflecting or projection of fire. And there's a bit of orange in his skin, which supposedly comes from the fire. Really beautiful work. Props to the DP. Every frame is so satisfying to look at. I mean, this is beautiful stuff. I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I could make out from the trailer was that there's two versions of Michael B. Jordan. This other version of him is like more mysterious and a dangerous character. Other than having beautiful eye light, which comes from a big source inside. His eyes are covered in a shade under his hat to make him look more mysterious and dangerous, but you can still see the bling in the eyes. It's just such a beautiful cinematography work. You can tell that this light source is huge because it's reflecting here in this beam as well. There's a really nice outside light coming down, spreading on the floor, hitting this. It just looks really nice. They use this type of overhead light a lot. It's this huge light source coming from above, hitting everything. You can tell the direction of the light by the way the shadow is casted in her eyebrows. It's coming from above. It's hitting her as well. So it kind of splashes everywhere, really. This is the oldest trick in the book. These are supposed to be candles. They probably put those little handy aperture lights inside these. You can even tell that this is too bright to be a candle. And everything else is lit ambiently from that big light source above, as I mentioned earlier. This is a classic film setup. I've seen this in so many films and commercials. You can see how there's a pool of light. It spreads really softly everywhere. If you look at the shadows of people, you can tell it's right here. And it looks like a big inflatable mattress almost, and it's just hung above there. I've seen different ways this can be set up. It can either be tied to cranes that we don't see off screen as well, or it could be like a huge inflatable mattress filled with helium, so it flies up, and what they do is they anchor it to the ground or trees. They either have LED lights inside of this mattress, or there's spotlights shooting at this mattress and it just bounces back down. The shot is a continuation of the previous setup where they had a big inflatable mattress, but this time they added another light source. See how it's a top light from the front. So one of them is here and number two is behind them. We can see it hitting the trees, we can see it hitting the car. So that's the bigger light source behind them. So they're nicely sandwiched in between two lights. And potentially this shoulder here is either lit also from this number one light, or it's an additional light source. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an additional light source because judging by the shadow under their eyes, it tells me it's directly above them. This has to be a separate light here, just a little bit closer to the camera. The shot is very interesting. I've shot in natural light many times, so the way the sky looks right now, this looks to me like a blue hour, which is 30 minutes right after sunset. But we still see a shadow that's casted off of our main character. And that tells me that there's a light off screen that's hitting him as if it's a sun. But I know that this is not a real light because the sun is already set. This shot looks like purely natural light to me as well. What I love about shooting film is how high the dynamic range is. On any other camera, all of this would have been blown out. We have a natural negative fill going on. There's a gradient of light coming from the top of their bodies, kind of going down. And that's created by the trees surrounding them. Shady places like trees or shades from buildings or bridges create natural negative fill. This shot is beautiful, though it doesn't match with the one that came before. Maybe the sun was covered by a cloud or this was a pickup on a different day, but we can see the grade is a little bit different and there is no harsh sunlight, but nonetheless looks really beautiful. I'm beginning to believe this is actually a stylistic choice and it's intentional, according to the genre, which it is a horror film. This really makes sense with the genre. A soft light source overhead, it creates shadows under their eyes. That's it for this breakdown. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments if you find this video useful or interesting, or what you'd like to see broken down next, or the kind of other things you want me to talk about. I'll be happy to read your comments. And again, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.